So who's a fan of Kerosene's fragrances? Are you a fan? So I first discovered Kerosene's fragrances quite a long time ago. In fact, I used to watch the guy behind the brand, John Pegg, on YouTube reviewing fragrances. Then all of a sudden, he started his own brand. His YouTube channel was gone. And I met him here several years ago at Ministry of Scent, which used to be Tiger Lily Perfumery. And I shot a video with John Pegg at the launch of this fragrance here, Follow. Not Followed. I've spoken quite a bit about Followed on the channel, this one, since it's such a beast mode fragrance. I'm not going to spray it on camera today because it'll fill this room and stay here for weeks. But this is a top 10 list. And the reason I'm doing a top 10 list now is because Kerosene Fragrances had 3 exclusive fragrances that were exclusively sold at certain stores, and now they're selling everywhere, and the Ministry of Scent here in San Francisco has all 3 of them. So those 3 fragrances are Summer of '84, Winter of '99, and Blackmail. So if you're curious to learn about Kerosene Fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, this is a video on Kerosene Fragrances. If you haven't discovered the line and you live in San Francisco or nearby, or you're visiting, you can always go to Ministry of Scent and sample these fragrances there. I really enjoy the line. You know my favorite, though, from the line. You'll see it. If you've been following me for a while, I've spoken about this fragrance over and over and over again. So let's go ahead and get started. I should also say some of the fragrances are not at Ministry of Scent, but the majority of them are. But we're starting off with Woodhaven, this one right here. This is at number 10. This is a wood overdose. If you like the idea of a woody fragrance, this is it. But it's also meshed with juicy citruses and also zingy ginger. It's almost like you're at a carpenter shop sawing woods, and the smell of ginger and lemons is wafting in the air with the smell of the dusty woods that are in there. But it's vetiver, ginger root, cedar, lemon, black pepper, grapefruit, bergamot, guaiac wood, juniper leaves, and pink peppercorn. This is for the woody fragrance lover, and as I said, it's meshed with the vetiver, and it's meshed with the ginger and the lemons, so it's got a very citrusy vibe in addition to the wood. So we're starting off the list with Woodhaven, but let me go ahead and quickly smell it for you on camera and let you know a little bit about this in addition to what I've said. Yeah, it's just definitely like a very woody experience. The wood shop comes to mind, but a variety of different kinds of woods, not just one, because woods kind of smell different, especially cedar. Cedarwood has a very distinct smell, and this is in here along with the vetiver note in here as well, with the lemony juiciness, or the juicy lemon, and then of course the ginger root is in here as well, so it gives you a zing. So that is Woodhaven at number 10. Then we're going with Copper Skies, this one right here. I've got one of the very original bottles from some time ago. This is kind of a warm, spicy fragrance with tobacco and a honey touch. So if you like the idea of honey, tobacco, and spices, this is the one that you should try. It's different in that it's got this very kind of waxiness because of the honeycomb, and it's a nice contrast to the tobacco, because honey, tobacco are always notes that you would combine together with, because they really do well together. They enhance one another, and you can smell this kind of like a sweet honey tobacco thing. But this one also has the amber and the cloves, and a wonderful offering from this house. Let me go ahead and smell it for you on camera so you can find out a little bit about this, a little more. Yeah, it's got sort of a it's got sort of a holiday vibe. And then also, it's very honeyed, as I said. Tobacco is a bit smoky, a bit ashy, but it's lots of amber and cloves. And definitely the idea of the basil comes in as well. And I also get a little bit of a licoricey touch for some reason. And there's no mention of licorice in here, but it is there. I think it's the combination, because the honeycomb and the honey idea gives you a bit of a molassesy touch, but for some reason it's creating a bit of a licoricey vibe for me. So that's Copper Skies at number 9. Number 8, we're going with Summer of '84. This one right here. So this is one of the fragrances that was exclusively sold at some store, one store. I don't know which stores it were, but now it's everywhere that sells kerosene fragrances, which is great because sometimes exclusive fragrances are difficult to get. But this is a very citrusy fragrance, and it is intense. It's uber intense, and also it has major color. So be warned when you're spraying this stuff on. If you're putting it on white, it's gonna stay there forever. So it's a lot of oils that are used in here and concentrated. This fragrance, you can really smell the concentration, the oiliness of the fragrance. And again, it's all citruses, but for me, they say fresh water. I get a marine vibe with this one. So it's definitely kind of sea breezy, marine, and I feel like there might be a little bit of cologne in here or something that's acting like cologne. So, but you know, it's lots of citruses, lots of grapefruit with lemons, melons, freshwater notes, bergamot, white flowers, and musk. See the color? I just sprayed it, and that's how much color there is here. It's a very concentrated citrus fragrance, and it's also very, very zingy. The grapefruit is intense, and you can actually smell the pithiness, the rinds, the oiliness that comes off. Like imagine if you've ever peeled any citruses, and you've squeezed it backwards, you can see the oils flying off. And I get that with this one. But the only thing I didn't like about this one is the fact that it has that kind of marine layer there, which, you know, cologne kind of turns me off a little bit. But the next fragrance at number 7, it's Walk the Sea. Walk the Sea has grown on me a lot. It used to be a lot darker. Lately, it's gotten brighter for me. I don't know why. And I felt like at one point it was a very dark, smoky, intense ambergris. But it's opened up for me, and I really like the brightness now. The white flowers are really strong here, along with the sea salt, but it's loads of cedar and ambergris as well, along with musk. This is a bit animalic, a bit challenging for some people, I think. If you're turned off by animalic notes, this one might not be it for you, but let me go ahead and quickly tell you a little bit more about this. Again, I was challenged with it a little bit when I first started sampling and wearing this one. It has opened up so much now. It's a lot of salt with white flowers, and the ambergris is covering it up. But at one point, it was so dark, really, really dark and smoky. And I don't get much of the smokiness now. I think maybe my nose has gotten used to it, and I appreciate this one a lot more now. So this is Walk the Sea. That is at number 7. And then at number 6, it's Followed. So this is the most potent fragrance I have ever encountered, ever, for the longest time. And I've mentioned it in videos over and over again. There are some people saying this is not potent. For me, this is intense. It's so intense. It's a room filler, and it'll fill the room for a long time. In fact, I spray this, it drops on my clothes, and I dry clean those clothes or my pants, and I can still smell the maple syrup. Although, since that happened, I've gone dry cleaned my clothes multiple times. It's no longer, and I'm not going to spray it. I like the performance of this one so much. As I said, I'm not going to spray it. But if you like the idea of a beast mode fragrance that lingers on forever, a long time, check this Followed out. It's coffee, cocoa, caramel, maple syrup, vanilla, amber. So it's basically kind of a follow-up to Follow. Follow-up to Follow. After Follow, you get Followed, right? So if you like the idea, check it out. It's intense for me. It's a room filler. Cautious use only. Cautious use. So it's Followed at number 6. Up next at number 5, it's Unforsaken. This one right here. So Unforsaken is a very juicy but powdery take on citruses and citrus flowers, and there's a little bit of a beachy, coconutty vibe running throughout it as well, but it's really refreshing and really fun and playful. Sunshine in a bottle, and I would say this is a solar fragrance. It features notes of orange blossom, clementine, coconut, tangerine, jasmine, vanilla, tonka, ginger, yuzu, benzoin, and musk. It does get warm when it's drying down, but it's lots of citruses and citrus flowers, and that coconut gives you that burst of sunshine beachiness. So very, very solar. Let's go ahead and smell it. I really like this one. I love the idea, and it's executed really nicely. And this one also is quite dark when you spray it. So be careful. Some of these have major oil, like concentrated oils of the notes in here. But really beautiful. It's I would say this is kind of sort of distantly like Love Don't Be Shy, but very distantly, I would say. It's not as marshmallowy creamy, but it does develop into something like that, and it's so, so delicious. This is really good, guys. Unforsaken by Kerosene at number 5. And then we're going with Blackmail. So this is the second fragrance that was exclusively selling at some store, and now it's available everywhere. And Blackmail is smoky oud. I'm going to say smoky oud because it's a very smoky fragrance, and there's no mention of smoke, but there's mention of oud. So I'm going to say this is the smoky oud variety here with raspberries, plums, vanilla, amber, sandalwood, and musk. So it's the combination of this dark, woody smokiness with bright, juicy fruitiness, along with some vanillic, ambery touches, woods, and musk. So let's go ahead and smell this one. This one is ranked at number 4 for me. I really like the idea of this one, and I like the contrast of that smoky woody oud and the fruits. Yeah, really, really great. It's nice balance. It's like an oud you can wear because it's like contrast, right? I really love these contrasts in fragrances, the darkness and the brightness. It really balances each other out and creates something very, very fun and very, very wonderful. It's definitely, it reminds me a little bit, the idea of Blackmail comes to mind, and the idea of black, and it's in color, because I'm smelling the color here. It's very, very black, and also a bit leathery as well, because I'm getting this kind of leather rubber combo, and I think it's coming from the smoky oud, or the oud note in here. Really great fragrance. Blackmail at number 4. And then it's Winter of 99 at number 3. What the heck was I doing in the winter of 99? What the heck was I doing in the summer of 84? I can't remember. But Winter of 99 is also really, really fun. It's kind of, after smelling all these fragrances, I definitely get the DNA of kerosene, just like the DNA of Tower Perfumes, Tower Rod. I'm definitely getting the DNA of kerosene fragrances, and there's a signature there. But this has notes of smoldering vanilla, woods, molasses, and nutmeg. Who likes the idea of molasses? Molasses can get dark and smoky, right? And it has a kind of a smoky charred flavor, but very, very sweet. And this kind of has that kind of a combination here with a little spice. It does say nutmeg, but for me, I get a cinnamoniness with this one. So it gives me a bit of a holiday vibe. And it's the nutmeg, perhaps, but for me, when I smell it and wear it, it acts more like cinnamon. But smoldering vanilla, very smoky for sure. It's almost like you're taking sugar and vanilla together and caramelizing it, perhaps. But it's very woody. There's a kind of a charred wood smell as well. And it's also thick and syrupy, molasses for sure. And again, I'm getting like a combination of spices, not necessarily nutmeg, but it's also kind of not necessarily uber cinnamony, something in between cinnamon and nutmeg, and maybe even cloves. This is really, really delicious. I really like it. It's definitely very wintry, kind of a gourmand, smoky kind of a gourmand. So Winter of 99 is at number 3. And then Follow's got to be number 2. This is Follow. And then if you guys haven't seen my video with John Peg of Kerosene, when he came to Tiger Lily Perfumery, which is now Ministry of Scent, we shot a video together. We actually sat in the window of the store and shot a video. Go figure. People were walking by. But we spoke about Follow, so you can find out about Follow in that video. But this is a coffee fragrance. It's coffee beans, vanilla, benzoin, tonka, sap, and amber. This is definitely like a sweetened up black coffee. No milk in it. This is not a milky coffee, not lactonic, just the dry, not dry, but dark, liquidy coffee. And I can also say perhaps it's more like the coffee grounds or the coffee bean smell, but for me, I get a wetness there. So I feel like it's definitely kind of the drip coffee smell. Not lightly, well, no, sweetened for sure, but really a great coffee fragrance. Let's go ahead and smell it real quickly on camera. This is one of my favorites from this house. Obviously, it is at number 2. Follow. Yep, really delicious. Really delicious. It's a very intense, I guess I could use the word Arabica. It's like walking into a store that's actually grounding or grinding coffee rather than brewing coffee. Because for me, coffee smells better with the grounds, not after, after it's finished and made into the drinkable coffee. It's not as smelling as good as it. This is delicious though. The smell is really robust and really intense and definitely very gourmand. And again, Follow versus Followed. I feel like Followed is an evolution of Follow, but followed is like breakfast. Maple syrup, pancakes, and coffee. Follow is just the coffee, you know? And then at number 1, it's definitely got to be Unknown Pleasures. Definitely. What a delicious gourmand this is. This is a lemony gourmand, really like lemon chiffon cake, very fluffy, airy, lemony, kind of vanillic, cakey deliciousness. So it's Earl Grey tea, lemons, bergamot, honey, tonka beans, caramel, vanilla, and waffle cone. Probably one of my favorite gourmand fragrances, and I love lemons to begin with. I'm a Mediterranean guy. I love my lemons, and lemons and gourmand together, really delicious. This was recently featured in my citrus gourmand fragrances. If you haven't caught that, go catch it. But if you like the idea of a sweet lemon with vanillic gourmand cakey notes, definitely try Unknown Pleasures. It is so fantastic, guys. Let's go ahead and quickly smell it. Who's a fan of Unknown Pleasures? Yes. It's definitely the right amount of lemons, and it's not tart, it's sweet, because it is after like you know, it's like a gourmand, it's dessert, it's so good. So delicious, and you can actually smell the tea in there as well. It's almost like having tea cakes, you know, lemony kind of tea cakes with the tea. So delicious. This is Unknown Pleasures at number 1, and that's the list for you. My top 10 list. I'm sure Kerosene has other fragrances, but what do you guys recommend? What are your other favorites that I did not discuss here in this video? Do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Also, to let you know, these are available at Ministry of Scent. I have a link in the info box, and I have a curated sample set at Ministry of Scent. If you buy a full bottle, you can add the code and get that curated sample set as a free gift. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Just a quick update on the video you just watched. I recently found out that Woodhaven is discontinued, or is being discontinued by Kerosene. And the way I found out about this is I had posted about Woodhaven way long ago, probably around 2018 or 2017 when I first reviewed Woodhaven. And Kerosene found my post on Instagram and mentioned something like this fragrance is being discontinued. So even though I shot that video a couple of weeks ago and it's now making out there on YouTube, just wanted to let you guys know that apparently Woodhaven is getting discontinued. I would double check with the brand itself, because I've also heard a rumor that Black Vines is being discontinued. I don't currently own Black Vines. I wanted to get it because I love licorice and fragrances, but unfortunately I don't have it, and I don't know how true this is, and I haven't had time to contact Kerosene to confirm of the discontinuations. But by the time this video airs, I'll most likely contact them and find out. But this is potentially a rumor. I didn't see this from Kerosene, but definitely Kerosene commented on my Woodhaven post on Instagram and said that fragrance is getting discontinued. Just so you guys know a little more information, Woodhaven was really great, but apparently it's getting discontinued. Black Vines is something I've always wanted to get, but unfortunately the rumor is it is getting discontinued. But either way, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for another video soon. Bye bye.